What's going on, guys? My name is Joey Franzo with Flex Training Systems, and today I want to talk about attempt selection, kind of breaking down the mindset behind each individual attempt. I'm planning on doing a much more extensive video on this topic in the future, but this is a pretty good, solid video for those of you that are probably competing for the first time, or you've been competing for a while, and you're not really having too much success, and this can hopefully steer you in the right direction. That being said, let's get right into the video. So, for every powerlifting meet, before you even step onto the platform, before you even warm up, actually, you need to submit your opener. As a rule of thumb, a lot of people say, an opener should be something that you should be able to triple easily. I like to lean, more towards 4 to 5 rep max, somewhere in there. It should definitely be a weight that you've hit before in training. It should be a weight that's very, very comfortable for you. And, mentally going into that opener in your mind, you should be thinking like there's no way you're possibly going to miss this weight. It should be automatic for you. You're, if you work with me and you can tolerate them, I like to use singles when we get closer to competitions. So you can practice that same technique you're going to be using on the platform. So you don't even have to think. You just go out there, you unrack the weight, listen to commands, hit your opener, and you're good to go. You're now in the meet. Then you can start building some hype, some momentum for the second attempt. The second attempt has a couple of different purposes. One is to, establish it is almost like a pathway to the third attempt that you are hoping to hit. It is also meant to prime the nervous system, or just prime your body for the big third attempt that's coming up. I definitely think it is better to, take like similar jumps from your first to second to third, than it is to take like a very aggressive second attempt. Even if you absolutely annihilate your opener, if you take that really aggressive second attempt, it might be a weight that you've hit many times before, with relative, ease, but because you're taking such a big jump, it's just going to throw you off. For example, why do you even warm up? You don't go from 135 to 315. Maybe if you deadlift 800 pounds, you might be able to get away with that, but you warm up. It's the same thing it's the same mindset behind a warm up. Not completely the same, but similar. You're preparing your body and you're getting it ready. You're priming it to hit that solid, big third attempt. And the second attempt is also the lift that kind of tells you where you're at for the day. It lets you know, everybody has like this dream third attempt that they want on meet day, and it's going to let you know if it's there or not. So the second attempt is very, very important in its own way, in that, it is very revealing. Oftentimes when I have, at the World Championship or an IPF World, which is in Killeen, Texas, there were a lot of close matchups during that day, and I had to watch the opponent, the opposite lifter of one of my lifters, to see what they had in them for the day. If you can get very good at judging that second attempt, it is going to give you a strategic advantage in choosing a third attempt for yourself or for your own lifter, or whatever the situation might be. The second attempt is essentially to build momentum, coming into that third attempt. Because if you have a solid planned third attempt and you crush your second attempt, you are just getting one step closer to sealing the deal, to hitting the number that you want to hit. The third attempt is very important in its own right. If your second attempt indicates that you have a lot in the tank, you may not want to go balls to the wall, but rather take the, one notch down. What do I mean by that? All right, so this happens, like, I cannot tell you how many times this happens, especially on bench press. Bench press is usually, most people bench under 500 pounds, right? And if you're benching under 500 pounds, under 450, something like that, the jumps that you make are not going to be anything like the jumps that you make for squats and deadlifts. What do I mean by that? So if you're thinking in kilos, which I highly recommend anyone, if you're competing on your own, if you think in kilos, it's going to make your life so much easier, because that's what you have to use. If you think, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, whatever, you hit your second attempt bench and you're like, oh dude, like I think I have 10 kilos. First off, 10 kilos is a big jump on bench. I rarely jump 10 kilos. If I do, it's probably from my third to my second. I like to take smaller jumps on bench. That way it's not so much of a shock. But you think you have 10 kilos left. You're like, all right, I got 10 kilos. But, maybe you don't have 10 kilos. Maybe you have like 9. Let's say you have 9 kilos, right? Well, you can either jump 7.5 or you can jump 10. If you jump to 10, you're gambling. You know what I mean? There's like a 30, 70, 60, 40, 60 chance that you actually get that. And everything needs to be perfect. And it's like, all right, if I jump 10 and miss, I realistically lose 7.5. If I jump 7.5, I hit that number and I only leave like a kilo and a half on the platform, which is not even realistic for you to hit anyway, unless you're taking some kind of world record, which is a very specific scenario that not everybody's going to be in. So I hope that makes sense. It's better to take the safe route and add, 7.5, 10, 12.5, whatever to your total, versus trying to go for that extra 2.5 and missing, and now you're out a ton of poundage. And I promise you, every single time you're in that scenario, it's going to suck and you're going to be salty as shit. So you definitely don't want to do that. Just be safe. You're not being that safe. You're just doing the right thing. Going back to that scenario, if you're really unsure, you could just jump 5. And then oh, dang, okay, I had a little bit more in the tank, whatever. That is a big issue, is people don't think in kilos. They're thinking in pounds, and they don't understand that if you tell someone, oh, you have 15 pounds on that, well, he's got to jump 12 or 18. You know what I mean? Like, you can't jump 15 unless you're competing at a meet that has pound plates, in which case I don't even know what you're doing with your life anyway. I'm just kidding. If you don't have a meet around you that uses kgs, then you're probably going to end up doing better with your attempt selection, because you're so used to training in pounds. To further expand on the third attempt, kind of through each lift, the third attempt squat, I personally like to have my lifters leave 2.5 to 5 kilos in the tank. It's gonna let you know kind of where they're at for deadlifts later in the day, unless they're really their squats like really independent from their deadlift. Then you can just completely disregard that and pick your numbers as needed on the fly. But if you grind squats and you're a little bit under from where you want it to be, chances are your deadlift is probably going to take a hit as well, especially if the meet is running quickly. I just recently had a guy compete and he was done in like 2 hours and 15 minutes. That is crazy to go through all those lifts in that amount of time. And his deadlifts were absolutely taxed. And he's part of the inspiration for this video, because I believe he took a big jump from his opening deadlift to his third attempt. But yeah, so squats can kind of tell you where deadlifts are going to be. And then on bench press, bench is just at padding the total. You're getting that nice. It contributes the least amount to the total, but at the same time, it's a necessary lift and you have to do it. bench is kind of like the lull period between squats and deads. You want to make sure your benches are nice and smooth. There's no reason you should be missing, and losing pounds off your total in the bench press. That's never a good thing. And if you just are very objective with it, try to get more than one pair of eyes on you, and there's no reason you should be missing any of those lifts. And then coming into the deadlift, third attempt deadlift is, that finalizes where you're going to sit for the day. There are a lot of different things you can do with your third attempt. Like 9 times out of 10, if you're going to just try to go for the win, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it unless the weight is well within your range. If you're lifting heavier than your opponent, then you already know what you need to hit, and then you can kind of make the smart decision from there. For example, my girlfriend Tina Donishman, she was competing at Raw Nationals in the primetime session. She was going head-to-head with Susie Hardwig Gary. Marissa Inda had pulled away from them by quite a bit. I think like 15 kilos or something. So, it's really close between Tina and Susie. Susie is like a veteran lifter. She's been lifting for a very long time, and we forced her. Like, she got a PR, and she's been lifting for like a long time, like 20 something years. She's like a 10-time national champion or something like that, like all-star masters lifter, whatever. And they made the right call. She hit a PR third attempt, which then I thought to myself, like, there's no point in having Tina try, my girlfriend, try something that's out of her range. Although she has surprised me in the past, I know she's going to be much happier, hitting that third attempt and just being, 2.5 to 5 kilos shy, which is territory that we're not used to anyway, versus, trying to hit something crazy. Like, rather her nail her third and be happy, walk away, okay, I hit all 3 deads and I have a great total, versus like, fuck it, let's just go for it. Marissa had already secured first, so there was like no point in going for that anyway. That being said, this is where like I might differ from some other coaches. If like, I understand that everybody, like, we're at the end of the day, powerlifting's fun. Like, people want to have fun. If you're 8 out of 8, if you have hit 8 lifts and you're coming into the last deadlift and you're like, coach, just let me go for it. Let me go for it. Like, I'll tell you whether I think it's there or not. And then if you're giving me those puppy eyes and there's not anything riding on it, sure, go ahead. Most of the time the lifter misses because, like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you're just hoping for a dream, it's not going to be there. There have been a few times where they've gotten it, but I want you to have fun. I want people to experience what it's like to put it all, on one deadlift, to just go out there, leave everything you have on the platform. It's literally like, it's a maximal lift using every single muscle in your body. So I might do stuff like that. And there's very specific scenarios where that's okay. But if you're at like a national championship, a world championship, anything like that, you don't want to do that. You just want to take what's there for the day on all your lifts. Get out of there and, live to fight another day, be healthy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So a bit of a longer video, but I hope this helps some of you guys. Maybe it's your first meet, or you just never really read anything or heard anything about attempt selection. You have nowhere to start. This is a good video for that. If anybody is interested in being coached by me, possibly in person or online, I don't really do any in person like one-on-one training, but I do like meet day stuff, which I've been done very, very well with. I handled Jesse Norris 2 nationals in a row. You guys know I work with John, and I handled like 30 something lifters at Raw National. So that was really, really insane. I have a lot of experience doing it. I've also worked with some of the OGs in the sport, like Mr. Matt Gary. So I have no issues when it comes to meet day coaching. Anyway, if you're interested in coaching or contacting me at all, and you want to talk about programming, anything like that, my website is down below. You go ahead and head to the contacts page and just, shoot me an email. Mainly for coaching. If you have any questions about the video, or there's other videos you want me to do later on, just drop it in the comments below. If you made it to this part of the video, let me know in the comments, you're the real Flex fam. You're the true. You guys are the reasons why I do this. I got some cool stuff coming up, hopefully later this week. A little bit different from what these voiceovers are, just so that I can put information out quickly while I'm, driving or anything like that, because I am a busy man. Got a lot of trainings to write. But yes, happy holidays if you're listening to this when I'm recording this video. And I will talk to you guys in the next video.